life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon
Oh, hi.
Hi.
She's Tracey.
And she's,
Whoever I am.
Woo! And we are
I'm Outlander Purgatory. Doesn't really matter who I am right now.
I don't even know who I am right now because, oh my God. My God. If I smoked, I would be smoking a big old cigarette right now. And this is going to have to do.
Oh, Lord.
So, episode 10, By the Pricking of My Thumbs.
Yeah. Within like the first 5 seconds of it coming up on the screen, other than the guns cleaning, which was pretty cool, or getting them ready, I was like, oh, they are going there.
All right, we'll break this all down. How are you today, Carol?
Crazy day. Flew home from Florida to try and get this video made. 10 hours
by
in the car.
fly, you mean drove for 2 days.
What?
By flew home, you mean drove for 2 days.
Flew like this. And I came home and I shellacked my hair that could stand to be a little washed. Shellacked my hair because in last week's, I'm surprised nobody called me out on that. All I did the entire video was this. How
Really?
annoying. So it is shellacked. I'm not going to have to touch this.
Now, this is what you do. If you don't want to play with your hair, you put it up. If you don't want to play with your hair, or you don't want the populace to know that you haven't washed it today, you put it up. And it's all good.
Kurt Cobain thing. No, I am in danger, major danger of looking like Night Ranger, the guy from Night Ranger. We're just going to forget about that. All right, let's go.
All right. There, you guys, 2 pages of notes. 2 pages of notes.
I have notes as well on my... This is what I did the entire time I was watching. It was so awesome. It was like back when I was reading the books, and I would sit with my computer and the book, and I would read and go... and like have to blog immediately. That's what I was doing. I was just like taking note.
Carol, let me ask you this. Did you or did you not watch the episode in the car with your husband and 2 children?
That's what they make earphones for. And I had to turn this way. So whoever was next to me in the car, lots of people from Ontario like to go to Florida. So let's just say that they got an eyeful.
Oh my God. Yeah, this was a crazy episode. I have a lot to say about this episode.
I have more. First of all, I'm going to say it right now, right here. Best episode yet. Do you agree? Do you concur?
Here's what this, in a nutshell for me, this episode was, the whole was better than the sum of the parts for me. This episode felt, and we'll talk this all through, but for the first 45 minutes, I was doing a lot of like, what? I don't get this. Like, really? So yeah, there were a lot of parts of this episode where I kind of like was like, huh? But it all came together for me in like the last 10 minutes, and then I was like, okay, it all like works and makes sense.
Okay. I have to say, I didn't notice or care about any of that from the get-go. I mean, obvs from the first scene. Hi.
Well, all right.
Hang on. No, you get to say that. Now I get to say that.
All right.
For the rest of it, the things that were covered in this episode were all my faves. I am really speaking in text speak today. I loved every second of this episode. Go.
I did. There were a lot of things I loved. I mean, we'll get to it. Like, let's just give a big fat pile of fabulous Sandringham right now. Simon Callow.
Oh, God.
Emmy for you.
I've been
Emmy.
and waiting for that, and it was better than I
mean,
expected.
but we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're jumping over.
Tracey,
the
episode jumped, as will we.
Okay. Well, what about my notes? All right.
I've got notes too.
We just had to look up. All right. So the episode title.
I got bronchitis.
Oh my God. All right, the episode title is "By the Pricking of My Thumbs," which I kind of thought was witchy. It was like something to do with witches, but I didn't really know why. I thought maybe it was from the Crucible. I don't know.
You know what? And our newfound friendship with Lottie totally made me go, oh, I just love Geillis even more.
She was very good in this episode.
She was this episode.
I mean, talk about big pile of something. Lottie, like Geillis Duncan, is just a big pile of
deliciousness.
Of delicious weirdness.
Loved her in the books. Love her in the show. Done.
Okay. So, anyway, but I need to look up the whole By the Prick of My Thumbs thing, and it's from Macbeth. It's like the something wicked this way comes. So it's clearly a foreshadowing that stuff is about to get real.
Oh, I think it got real in the first act.
So, okay, so the gun that we had the starting, we had the little like teaser thingy, which was the guns. I think I was a little bit like, okay, we'll figure it out. And I do like figuring it out, like, as the episode goes on.
Right, love it.
It's weird for me.
It's like a little Easter egg.
Yeah, it's exactly it. And it was a little weird for me, but we'll get to that. So then just...
mere seconds later.
Here's what this was like. And I can't believe I'm about to make this comparison. You've read Charlotte's Web, right? I'm about to compare the scene to a children's novel.
And seen the movie many times.
You know how Wilbur, the pig, at first doesn't know what to think about Charlotte because Charlotte's a spider and she kills bugs. And Charlotte says, well, but I'm nice to them because, like, before I do it, I, like, bite them and it has a certain, like, Novocaine or whatever, so they don't feel anything. So that when I actually eat them, like, it's all good. And I felt like that's what this scene was. This scene, because I did have some issues, we'll get into it, with things further on in the episode, but this scene was like the Novocaine. This scene was like the Charlotte Novocaine, that it really just had such a buzz that I couldn't really care.
Tracey and I both, like, have this love affair with our mother's chocolate icing.
And it was my birthday last week, so I got some.
You only get it once a year on your birthday. You get the white cake, the chocolate icing that my mother makes, homemade,
and the cake is just a vehicle through which the icing is delivered. Cake doesn't matter.
And let me tell you something, and it's like thick and fudgy to the point where you could almost peel it off the cake. It is so amazing. Okay, this episode, first few minutes, better
than that. Yeah, agreed. You guys, I really tried to do this before this video, and I just didn't have time. I wanted to make charts and graphs. Comparing all of the scenes.
It make me choke.
So far. I really tried to do it. But it's really hard in Word. They made it much harder in Word than it used to be. Comparing all the scenes, like starting with I figured there's episode 1, episode 7, episode 8, episode 9, episode 10. And suffice to say that, like, all the other bars, like, went like this. If you were looking at it as a bar graph, episode 10's bar, like, breaks. I mean, like, take all of the other ones combined, including the wedding episode, which everyone's like, oh.
Right.
Multiply them by 1.5 million cubed. That's the first 3 minutes of this episode.
You know, and which is really, to me, like, funny, interesting, ironic, because I'm always the first one saying it's not about the sex. Like, the last episode, I was like, you know, that isn't what I wanted to see as much as I wanted to see the intimacy and blah, 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 blah. Same with the wedding episode. Everybody that said that was their favorite. Meanwhile, I'm back to Frank and Claire pounding on the stones. So here's me. I don't need the sex in the video.
I mean, like, there's not, I mean, that, like, I'll have what she's having.
I'll have what she's having.
You know?
Oh, well done. He goes, no. I was like,
oh, yes. Yeah. Murtagh's pounding on the door, and she's like, oh. And then you see his head, and he's like, no. Boom. You're like, oh my.
And meanwhile, most of the population of females on this planet will be like, dang it. I can't go back to that now.
I loved how, like, you kind of couldn't tell at the very start what was going on. Like, clearly she's like, Didn't
you know the second?
Well, not the second. I mean, you knew something exciting was going on, but I didn't know if she was, like, having a nice dream or whatever. And then, and then the camera pans over, and you're like, oh.
I knew.
Oh, my.
I knew the second, and I was like, it was, oh, God, I can't even say this. It was like after last week, and then, bam, there it was. It was like multiples.
Oh, it was so good. It was like, I mean, so Head and Shoulders and, like, Empire State Buildings.
Above.
And Freedom Towers. And any other tall building you want to think of above any other scene that has been done up to this point.
Right.
Like, not even close. Not even close. So, all right. So
let's move on, because I have something to say about Murtagh coming in.
Okay. So, well, eventually Murtagh, like, they let him in, and he is a little bit, like, I guess, like, apologetic to Claire, as he should be.
Right.
Doofus, Murtagh.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be, like, I would not be happy with him. I mean, if, you saw what Leary got, I'd be giving good to Murtagh for that.
I have a question.
Yes.
About Murtagh. Were you going to say something about Murtagh right now?
No, I was just going to say,
Like, do you have anything in your notes about Murtagh?
Not in that scene, no.
Okay. I am going to throw in a spoiler if you haven't read The Exile, but frankly, I don't think it should be a spoiler because The Exile is Outlander in graphic novel form, correct? There's something that happens in The Exile that does not happen in the book.
I'd say it's probably a spoiler.
What I have written down is that, Jamie's like, oh, I made a promise to you, and blah, blah, blah. And Murtagh's like, I made no such promise. You must speak. And I wanted to make the point that Murtagh in The Exile saw her come through those stones. Mm-hmm. So should we, as Exile readers, assume that Murtagh, this isn't just this episode. Should we assume that Murtagh, isn't really seeing her as a spy as much as he's seeing her as some kind of fairy thing or something? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think the short answer is no, because this is a different medium. The books are not the TV show, and the TV show is not the books.
Right.
And I think we saw a lot of that just based on even tonight's episode. The two are close, but the two aren't like mandated to be the same.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting thing. Food for thought. Think about it. Think about it. Regardless of whether you read The Exile or not, it's not a huge spoiler. Mm-hmm. Murtagh in The Exile, in one frame, sees her come through the stones.
No, I think that as interesting as Murtagh is, he's not important enough to the story for it to matter.
It matters to me because I love Murtagh.
It matters to you, and yeah, so you can think whatever you want. I think in the TV show, you can't assume that because something's in the book, it's part of the TV world.
Well, here's the deal. I really don't care about the TV world. And to me, it's awesome.
So are you talking about it from a book perspective?
I'm just talking about it from the story. And I find it really interesting because anybody else would have come in that room and heard Jamie say, oh, I won't make you, you don't have to tell, whatever he said, that she doesn't have to tell him how she knows, right?
Right.
Anybody else would have had, like, the dirk at her throat, like, you're going to tell me how you know. But Murtagh was kind of like, I made no such promise, whatever he said. But then I was like, oh, but it's Murtagh. So Murtagh's probably like, maybe I don't want to push her because Murtagh's always been a little like afraid of her.
No, he didn't push her because Jamie said like, don't push her.
Right, I know, but I also see in my mind the exile and the fact that Murtagh saw her come through. He thinks she's supernatural or something. It's interesting. Just food for thought. Let's continue.
Okay. All right. Spoiler done. All right. So
I don't think that's a spoiler either. If you haven't read The Exile, go do so. It's awesome. Keep going.
Okay. So Jamie and Murtagh go off to talk to Ned, who I just love like every moment that he's on screen.
I love Ed more every week.
Ed or Ned? Did you say Ed?
Ned, sorry.
Ed.
Who's Ed?
So
I loved Ned in the books though, so I love him even more in the show.
So, but one thing that was interesting, and you're gonna like fall asleep for a minute, but like this I think is this the first scene that we have gotten a different viewpoint that's not from a flashback or not from the fact like last week it was from Jamie's point of view, so that's how we saw everything.
Right.
The rest of the time it's from Claire's point of view, so that's how we saw everything. And we either saw what she was seeing or we saw flashbacks, clear flashbacks.
I gotta be honest with you. I pay zero attention to that stuff. I
like it.
I like it, and it does they do such a great job that it goes right over my head because I'm so entranced. Like, well,
right. Well, but what it does is it frees us. All of a sudden, we don't have to be. We're not going to find out only what Claire knows, or we're not going to find out only what Jamie knows. We can find out anything, and it's totally freeing. Carol's just gonna like. So okay, I have to turn the light on. Hold on, because they can't read my notes. All right.
You know what I have to say? When do they? The April, right? Is when they start filming again.
Yeah. End of April. Why?
Would somebody please get Tobias Menzies in another romance? Because I need to see some Tobias Menzies in scenes like this.
I know, right? Okay, so there's a possibility that, like, if they can get the Duke of Sandringham to, like, not testify against Blackjack, but, like, bring a letter of, like,
Right.
I recommend that he's a douche and, like, you should, throw him in jail or whatever.
Every time I hear Sandringham, I kind of think of Newman.
Newman.
Sandringham. And let me tell you something. Tom, we were on vacation, you guys. I left the Friday at 3 a.m. after the premiere and just got home 2 hours ago. So Tom, my husband, has not yet seen episode 9 or 10. After this video, he and I are going to run right in there and watch.
Marathon. All right.
Should you make that bounce, chicka, bounce,
bounce? I will be very curious to know. I will be very, very curious to know if we never had Tom on a video to interview him, I would want him to ask him if you were in a situation as Jamie were towards the end of episode 9, where knives were used at very specific times, what would happen to you?
Oh,
would it be like, wah, 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 wah?
His reaction, I have waited all week. And now I saw episode 10 and I'm like, this is the best video. He's going to absolutely love this episode. I know
10 or 9? 10 he'll love. 10 he'll love. 9?
He's going to love 10. He's going to have a lot to say about 9.
All right. See if you can get him not even on camera.
As we all know from the blog, Tom's never been the biggest Claire fan. Tom likes Claire better on the show than he did in the book.
You should see if we can get him, if he'll like, he doesn't have to be on camera, but maybe he'll talk behind the scenes about his feelings.
He just walked by and was like, that's what I just thought. How freaking funny would it be if we had Tom, like, in the shadows and changed his voice?
All right, moving on. This is boring, everyone.
Read up through Voyager and has many, many opinions, but doesn't want to be on camera. Obviously, doesn't want, like, people from work or whatever seeing him on camera. Oh, Tracey, that would be so funny.
Yeah, clearly we don't care, but whatever. All All right, we have to move on. This is gonna, or we're gonna be like, it's gonna, like, we're gonna be here forever.
Totally agree.
So
I just want to show you this really quick.
he looked so good all the way through
Tasty
the episode.
tuna!
I know, right?
All right, let's go.
I thought it was sort of interesting that, like, I guess this whole Horrocks stuff is like been put to bed. Like, there's no mention of, like, you know, using his words or whatever. Like, nothing at all. So
Hottix, you mean?
What?
Hottix?
Hottix.
Get Horrocks. Hottix.
I get it. Hottix. Okay. So, so after we, like, set that all up, we move to the kitchen, and Claire comes in to see Mrs. Fitz and Leary, and Mrs. Fitz is like, "Oh, my darling granddaughter made me this darling ape.
And
This is beautiful,
Claire's like, "Get out my way, woman."
And Claire's like this. And Leary's like this.
Claire's like down
And Claire's like, "Mrs. Fitz, vamonos." And Mrs. Fitz are like, "All right."
Yes, and she's like, "Get out." And that's her grandmother. I was like, Claire, I have a lot to say about this scene. I have a lot to say about what you've already said. Claire, going in there to complain to Leary. I thought it was kind of bizarre, like really beneath Claire.
Good point.
That's not Claire. Claire laughed that shit off.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
She's fighting with a 16-year-old over her husband. And how about Leary saying, "Jimmy Fraser has always been mine." That's a Scottish accent. Oh, God. I'm sorry, Lynn and Alistair. If you guys are listening, or Hugh, any of my friends and family from Scotland, please don't laugh at my bad accent. But seriously, what? Claire's, that's beneath her.
Here's the thing. And I mean, again, think about our Scooby-Doo ending last week. I'm sorry, that's the second time we do that. Think about our, like, ending from last week.
With, like, the Blair Witch doll. I need one of those.
I mean, there was much more of an ominous, you know, feeling towards her and what she's trying to do. So it didn't surprise me too much.
It was like dun dun dun.
It didn't surprise me too much that Claire would go. Now, like, she'd go bursting into the kitchen and, you know, be like, "Mrs. Fitz," you know, it's a little, like, I thought maybe she'd, like, pull her, you know, she'd see her in the hallway and, like, be like, like, pull her in an alcove or whatever, and like, "Look, bitch, hands off." But
you don't know Jimmy Fraser.
But then when they start, like, totally with the verbal smackdown of, like, you know, "Hey, Jamie must be, like, all snookered to, like, you know, bed ye," or whatever. And then Claire, like, bitch slaps her. And I actually thought that was a pretty good scene. It was kind of fun.
Great scene. It was totally, like, fun for TV. I'm telling you, this was the Vampire Diaries episode.
But this was the first instance of, I don't even know really how to describe this. I don't even know really how to describe this, except that there was so much, like, every scene felt like exposition. Because,
hang on a minute. I'm still on Leary.
I know, I'm like that. But what I'm saying is when Leary was like, "Yes, I had the Earwish, and you know who sold it to me? Geillis Duncan."
They made me feel bad for her.
Who? What? For Geillis or for Leary?
For Leary, I was like, Claire, jump back.
Oh, when Claire smacked her?
Oh, Claire is a little too heavy-handed with that right hand of hers.
And how about Claire like this? "I shouldn't have done that. Sorry."
I shouldn't have done that. Well, you did. I am sorry, but I truly just feel like Claire is making a big deal out of a 16-year-old game, like a stupid 16. Look, Claire. Okay. Claire knows it's ridiculous. So why is it upsetting her?
But does she? I mean, again, remember how we left it last
That's
week?
at the end of Mommy Dearest. She gets the last word. Does she?
No, think about it. Think about Jamie last week. It wasn't just like, you know, "Oh, yeah, this is really stupid, whatever." it was like, oh, it's an ill wish. I know that. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I mean, he made it a bigger deal than.
Was that Quint from Jaws?
Shot
But I'll catch
in the
him.
water.
Pretend.
Cage goes in the water.
Okay, wait.
But
Okay, this is what I have written down. Why would this Blair Witch doll bother Claire so much? Doesn't seem like her at all. She'd laugh it off as the doings of a broken-hearted 16-year-old. And geez, she slapped her? Since when is Claire so uneven keeled? Makes no sense. A 16-year-old unnerved her? WTF. Here's the deal. Jamie was like, it's a, what did he call it?
ill wish.
An ill wish. But Jamie's the first one to agree with Claire when Claire, I don't want to jump ahead, but there's something further in the episode where Claire's like, what the heck? And Jamie's like, look, they haven't been past, 10 miles from here, so they don't understand. Jamie's usually with her on how stupid this stuff is. So it's, and don't get me wrong, I know in the books there were things that Jamie saw that they were ignorant, and there were things that Jamie was like, no, Claire, don't touch. Whatever. So I get that. But I just feel like Claire would have seen that thing and been like, oh, Lord Laoghaire.
I think this time it's personal,
Well, if anything, the only thing I could think of that I could pull out was maybe she's concerned, and this is kind of foreshadowing, like, okay, today it's a doll. What's it going to be tomorrow? Is she going to push me off a cliff? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So Claire, I think in that way, I understand it, is not marking her territory, but is like, look, she's trying to nip it in the bud before it gets too big. That I can get.
Now let me ask you this. Do you think that Jamie...
I need more of this? Yes.
Oh, and it's even... you're like at the Santa Margarita. That's like Carol's favorite wine ever, you guys.
What?
Do you think Jamie told Claire about Leary by the stream?
Say that again. Do I think Jamie told... Oh, hell no!
I don't know. I mean, you can't, like... It's funny because between what I do for a living, which is all about, like, text... Like, I do curriculum development. So, shut up! It's all about, like, text evidence and, like, you have to, you have to be able to support any idea that you have about the text from the text.
Are we going to Common Core conversation now?
Yes, we are. That's a Common Core thing. So on the one hand, you would say, like, no, there's no evidence to show you from the TV show that he said anything to her about what happened there. But then I think through the eyes of Katrina, and this is so actory, I'm so sorry, but like if I'm Katrina having to play this role, I might think the way you do. I might think like, why would Claire be so upset? Then I'd have to start like making stuff up in my head, which is totally the antithesis of Common Core. Do you know what I mean? That was sort of a tangent, and it makes sense in my head.
Oh, that's
that's what I'm saying. Like, so I might say, do you think that Jamie told her about what happened with Leary? And from a Common Core standpoint, I would be like, no, because there's no evidence to show from the show that happened. But from an actor point, I'd be like, maybe that's why she's so pissed off.
Well, okay, I need to get back to that question because there's something that happens later that I didn't know if Jamie knew that Claire did. Mm-hmm. So I think Claire does a lot that Jamie doesn't know about. Because Claire's still got that part of her that's like, yeah, I'm from the 20th century, so you don't need to know everything I did. And Murtagh can just walk yourself right on home.
We have to move on because we're only like halfway through page 1 here.
That's how good it was.
I know. Oh my God. All right. So, all right. So Claire knows. It's totally like you remember the episode of the Brady Bunch where
Did you ever see your notes and just cry?
No, I look at my notes and be like, what the hell did I mean by that?
I'm cracking myself up. Keep going.
Now, do you remember the episode of the Brady Bunch where they lost the earrings and Peter and Cindy were like the detectives that tried to find the earrings?
Yes.
And then they retraced the whole thing at the end and they're like, well, I put them under a towel in the sink. And then Jan's like, wait, I took it from there. I like got them and then put the towel and then put them back. Or like it was out,
yes.
That's what I felt like with this episode. It was like, well, yeah, I had the Ill-Wish and Geillis sold it to me. And then Geillis is like, well, yeah, I sold her the Ill-Wish and I'm having a baby. And it's Dougal's baby. And then Dougal was like, yeah, I got Geillis pregnant. And, you know what I mean? Like,
All right.
Anyway.
Wait,
okay.
What do you have next?
I'm really going to miss Mr. Geillis.
Okay.
I just was like, I mean, and that's skipping ahead, but like, Arthur Duncan is, whoever that actor is, I don't even know.
Awesome. So
funny.
Gil's hubby is flatulating himself to death like Elvis. I'm sorry. No disrespect meant to Elvis.
He's so funny, that guy. He's so funny.
And then I have maybe Priscilla spiked his drinks with the beak of a rotting dove, too. Wonder if they gave him fennel, too. Seriously, I'm just being a wise ass. No disrespect meant to Elvis.
Then I put down the poor Geillis servant. Like, she is not being paid enough, that girl.
Oh, who is she? Who even is she?
I don't know.
Stop, I'm like, girl, you better know this.
You know what? With everything that everybody's gone through so far, she has it the worst.
Can I tell you that?
Has it the worst.
Totally. Can I tell you that? And as I said, we got back tonight from Florida, tangent, and Tom keeps walking in, walking out, walking in, bringing in like bags and stuff from the car because he ran himself in because the Masters was still on. And I am just cracking up because while we were in the car and I was watching this, every once in a while I would go, "Oh no!" So now he's listening to me make this video. He must be like, "What happened in this episode?"
All I know is, you need like a decibel meter reader to measure how hard I laughed at like Claire being like, "Well, I should probably go," and Arthur going, "By Christ, you should!"
Get the out.
By Christ, heaven, you should. I like wrote it down. See, in like really large letters. So funny.
My next
the chamber pot, damn you!
What?
The chamber pot, damn you!
Oh, poor guy. And if you read the books, you know what's happening. Okay, so wait.
So funny.
The next comment I have is a comment about, they were talking about Sandringham. And about, he meets with Colum, but it's Dougal he's fond of. Could someone please explain that?
Wait, you just skipped over like a crap load of stuff.
What?
Like the whole... I mean, my next thing is the Geillis show. Thoughts? Naked writhing?
Stupid, but Geillis.
Yeah, you know...
Great name for a band. Stupid, but Geillis.
Geillis. I mean, I thought that I liked the parallels between, like, you know, the original dancers and what Geillis was doing. But then the whole, like, you know, disrobing and writhing around on the ground.
It was stupid. And you're like, Geillis... Oh, I can't say that. I almost spoiled, but I won't.
It was kind of stupid. Like, I just, you know...
Whatever.
Yeah.
I love you. You can come out now, Claire.
I said, poor Geillis must have been cold. Because it looked really... Because here's Claire, like, with her muff and, like, her whole coat and hat and whatever. And here's Geillis, like writhing around with, you know... And, like... no, never mind.
She's at a...
Can they please... All right, can we please cast...
Wait, Geillis is riding around like she's at a Cure concert in 1986.
So what else? So I like that connection, but it was kind of weird. Now,
I thought it was neat though. I love all that mystical stuff, like all that kind of old Celtic. I love that.
Yes, I agree, and I like that too. But then, like, you know, the whole like, you know, I'm gonna have an orgasm over this. Like, it's just kind of. It was like.
I know. That you can come out now. I was like, 'cause she's finished. What was that?
Yeah.
All right.
So wait, but I'm not done. I have a lot to say about this scene. And I felt like she gave the goods way too easily. This scene was like, she just like, this is going to be really crude, I'm sorry, but she like just took a figurative information dump.
You're totally right, because Geillis, we're used to her being very mysterious, and she doesn't give up a lot of info. And meanwhile, she's all, oh yeah, by the way, I was doing Dougal, and I'm pregnant. And
yes, I have a lover. It's Dougal, and I'm totally pregnant now. And and he's married too. Like, what did we learn from this scene?
I have so much to say about that.
Married?
Married.
Married?
Yeah, married.
So let's move on from Geillis in the woods.
But wait. I just have to wait. Yeah, there was just too much. There was too much information. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think Geillis would give up the goods that easily. I don't think she'd be like, oh, hi, Claire. Yeah, this is Dougal's baby. Dougal's baby. I will tell you right now, people, this is not how it goes down in the book. Like,
she should have a shirt with an arrow. Oh, my God. That sounds like something from a shop.
But the other thing, maybe I'll get to that a little bit later in my notes. Although, it's the next thing in my notes. The other thing I just didn't buy from this whole scene and kind of the whole segment that follows is like, okay, people. It's the middle of the night. Claire has, like, evidently snuck out of her bed. And why doesn't she do that? She's just, like, dumber than a box of hair, like, for that. Right there. Okay? And, yeah, like, snuck out of her bed, found, like, gone off, found Geillis, like, doing all this, like, dance and whatever, evidently stayed out all night with her.
Right, because there's the sun coming up, I know.
And, like, didn't she just get, like, smacked by Jamie about 2 days ago for, like, running off without his knowledge? And not like it's, he forbade her to run off ever again, but, like...
Yes, but that's because she disobeyed. And when they went to bed that night, he probably said to her, he probably did not say to her, you must stay here. So she's like, hey, he didn't tell me I had to stay in the bed.
Okay, well, number one, as if you'd ever leave Jamie in bed. Number two, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy that so soon after everything that went down with that, and I would imagine that they're still sort of like, not fragile, the relationship, but
right.
It's a little soon after all that stuff that went down. That
what
she would just leave to the point where he had to, like, ride off to look for her.
Right. But in the book, wasn't it during the day they were, like, out collecting herbs?
She and Geillis were, like, out collecting herbs or whatever. And Geillis didn't take this information dump. And they just, like, came upon the changeling. And that was it.
Like, oh, and by the way. Right. The changeling happened, though.
Right.
Now, I have a question.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's one of those things that I just don't remember from the book, or if I never put two and two together during the book, or if I'm wrong. Did Geillis take that baby?
No.
So Geillis had nothing to do with the baby.
No. Actually, it went down pretty much like it did in the book, in the show. My thing with the changeling was, remember back to, like, episode 3-ish, maybe? When they had that, like, there was a sick boy, like, Mrs. Fitz's, and they kind of tread that water back then, and I remember being like, okay, this is probably meaning that they're not going to do all the changeling stuff, because they pretty much dealt with the same issues of, like, Jamie and Claire talking, and Jamie being like, yeah, I get it, a lot of the village folk have never been 10 miles, out of town, and they believe all this stuff, whatever. So when they did this scene, I was like, I don't get it. Like, why are they rehashing all this territory? Like, this is something that felt a little random to me, but by the end of the episode, I totally got why they did it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But at the time...
To that.
All right, we're getting to him. At the time, I was like, this felt very random, and this felt very, like, why are they doing this again? Like, I've seen this before. But anyway,
she's so Raven, she's so random.
But that was, let me look at my notes here.
I thought that would be
Claire
fun.
really get up in the middle of the night after running away from I have to get back. Weird
Ah.
revelations everywhere. Geillis sold the Ilwish. Geillis did it. Geillis pregnant. Geillis did it.
Hang on a minute.
Changeling. Surprised they did
Girl,
it.
you're not the only one who took notes.
Wait.
I
Go
jumped
through your
back
notes.
to that baby scene.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, this might sound like I was smoking dope,
Mhm.
but I'm just going to say it. Claire's reaction to that baby, I mean, obviously anybody's reaction to that baby, and she was sitting there cradling that baby.
Mhm.
But I thought to myself, is this possible that Claire feels almost akin to this baby because she feels like she's been traded to and sort of left here to languish in the 18th century. Like, she had to make a trade, sort of. So this baby was traded in the crazy Cray-Cray world of, the 18th century Scots and the old wives' tales and blah, 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
I just felt like, there was so much, Claire was just focused on that baby so much that I just kind of felt like, obviously it's on the surface. She's upset. There's a dead baby that just died because she heard it screaming.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I was like, is Claire feeling sort of like this kinship with this babe? Because she has been also traded and left here to by herself to fend for herself. Go.
The only reason I would maybe argue that is because she doesn't believe any of that.
Right?
I actually took it. I thought what went through my head was that, remember that Claire and Frank have been trying to have a baby.
True.
And that's where I went with it. Like, I wondered, granted they hadn't been together in so long because of the war.
Mhm.
And we don't really know, it's not clear to us how long they were together before the war.
Right?
Or really how long, probably a couple months, whatever. But, like, did they have an experience or maybe they lost a baby? We don't know that, but that's kind of what went through my head.
Those are the little things that go through my head while I'm watching this. And I do have a habit of, like, sort of really delving into it. And, and I think everybody does. It means something different to
Right,
everybody.
of course.
But my comment about Colum and Dougal and Sandringham, I'm going in order of scenes. So there must have been a quick little scene. They were talking about Sandringham. He was not yet introduced.
Right.
And
That was Geillis and Claire talking about him.
someone said he meets with Colum, but it's Dougal he's fond of.
Right.
What?
Right. That was Geillis because it was the bracelet. It was
Okay,
like,
but
look what my lover Dougal gave me, this bracelet. And it's so awesome. And it was like for his like ugly wife, but whatever. Did
Okay,
you
but
want to
why
talk
is
about the wife?
Sandringham fond of Dougal?
Say what?
Why is Sandringham fond of Dougal?
Because Dougal is a Jacobite.
And that, okay, all right.
Got
Because
it?
I think we found that out later. All right.
Yeah, they made that connection that Dougal is a Jacobite, Sandringham is a Jacobite.
Why? Okay.
All right.
Why is Sandringham a Jacobite? Makes no sense.
Well, clearly he
Sandringham
likes the
is
Scots.
in cahoots with, he's all tight with Blackjack Randall. He is Joe English upper crust.
Yeah, but no, he's tight with the Scots too. He's like losing at cards to the McDonald's or whoever they
Well,
were.
that's what I didn't understand, and I couldn't remember from the book. And I'm saying to myself, okay, why is this Englishman who is well up there hanging with the Scots?
But none of that's in the book. None of that's in the book.
But you know what's funny? I never questioned it in the book. I never questioned Sandringham's existence in the book, but I'm watching the show and I'm going, why? When you think back to like when she had dinner with the English and when Blackjack came in and all that and wiped his muddy boots, like I'm sort of sitting here going, okay, what in the world is someone like Sandringham doing visiting the Mackenzies? Oh, and I guess it's because of Dougal and the Jacobite stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like I said, I thought the same thing, sort of
But
like,
why
what the hell
would-
is Sandringham doing, like dueling, Joe Mackenzie, like, farmer
Why
Joe
would
Mackenzie?
Sandringham be a Jacobite?
I don't know. I don't remember in the book if he was. I mean, he was clearly, you know, I mean, the whole that whole like paper of pardon and this whole duel crap and everything. None of that's in the book. So
Right.
I honestly don't remember his Jacobite-ness in the book.
I loved it, though.
Degree of
Let it be known. This is one of those things that they added in that I love.
All right. Okay. Because we have I think we're about to get to Sandringham. Okay. So Jamie shows Claire the whole, like, you know, writ of pardon or whatever the hell it is, or the
And signs, he watches her sign Claire Fraser for the first time.
She picked up that, like, quilt stuff really fast. Like, I would think that would be hard to learn.
Right, but did you notice that she signed Claire Elizabeth Fraser?
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of like, Jamie was all up on it. It's like,
Jamie's like, look, I have a wife.
all right, because that's in my notes. Keep going.
All right. Then we get the Duke of Sandringham. Again, he's so good. He is just so delicious. I can't even stand myself.
Tracey, I have it in my notes. First of all, I called him Sandy. I'm like,
oh, let's call him Sandy. I'll totally do that.
So Sandy says, quote, I'm very fond of Jamie. I don't remember if he said Jamie or Jamie Fraser.
Jamie, he said Jamie.
But I have, oh my God, he said it like he's Aunt Marie.
Okay, we get that. Nobody else does.
Very fond of Jamie.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Duke of Sandringham, perfection. You know, I think the writer for this was Ira. Oh my God, I don't remember. I want to say Ira Bear, but I don't know if that's it. But, like, you know, I don't necessarily agree about some of the, like, exposition, whatever. But, like, every word that came out of Sandringham's mouth was perfection.
Gold. Liquid gold.
Liquid gold. I mean, like, honest to God, whoever wrote that dialogue, I think it was Ira. If it wasn't, props to you, because it was fabulous.
He was, I need to watch this every day. I just love him to pieces. And all I kept hearing was John Hannah saying, he was my north, my south, my east and west.
Katrina Balfe must have just ended those scenes like, oh my God, I love my job because this is just like the best thing ever.
I know! And okay, so how about Claire? How much Jacobite gold did Dougal Mackenzie pass along to you? My girl's got some.
I know. Well, she did. She pulled the same thing. She pulled another thing like she did with Blackjack. And it didn't work with Blackjack, but it totally worked with the Duke of Sandringham.
And I don't want to go back, but this is the woman who loves Blackjack Randall, who makes comments like that about Jacobite gold to Sandringham, and yet she's fighting with Laoghaire over Blair Witch stuff. All right, let's keep moving.
Okay, so now we get to the
I have a question.
What?
Keep going.
Okay, so what I wrote down is Dougal's wife has just perished from a sudden illness. Dun, dun, dun!
Oh my God.
I don't even know what to say about that scene.
I don't remember this from the book.
No.
I don't remember questioning this in the book, and maybe I did. Did Geillis have anything to do with Dougal's?
No, because I went back and I read it before this video, and it says something along the lines of, like, you know, I wanted to do something. She says something like, I wanted to do something, but, like, you know, God took care of it for me. No.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what about in the show?
Let's go back. Why? I don't understand why we, the audience, couldn't have learned very casually, very in the moment, like episodes ago, that Dougal was married. Like it totally felt like we learned it in this episode only to kill her off. Because she was getting killed off. Like,
I totally agree with you.
I mean, like, in episode 6, in The Garrison Commander, when Claire's like, you know, oh, you want me to marry Jamie, but why don't I just marry you? All he had to say was like, oh, yeah, I wish I could laugh, but I'm married to the ugly Mora. But, you know, I'd grind your corn any day. Da-da-da. He could still be a douchey sleaze, but be married. So what was the problem with finding that out, like, episodes ago? Why did we need to, like, oh, and by the way, he's married? Like,
I really
and like
seriously-
5 minutes later, oh, and by the way, his wife just died. Like, I didn't get that. Like, that to me was just, I mean, I rationalized it as like, well, maybe they didn't figure out that they were going to do it this way until like late. But like, how could you not figure that out?
Okay, but is it possible that in the show she did kill Geillis, Dougal's wife?
How? Dougal's wife is like not there.
How far away is she?
I mean, we don't know from the TV show. From the books, she's like, you know, I mean, actually, we do know from the TV show because she's at least like a significant ride because like Dougal has to take like, you know, all the like, you know, the dudes from the palace or whatever to go off with him to like go there.
How did she die?
We don't know. She just died of a thing.
Okay, and what was with Dougal, Lil Dougal tantrum?
I'm sorry, but that was just some weird shit. I gotta say, and again, this episode ended up. I did like it by the end, and I liked a lot of it. But this was one piece where I was just like, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm gonna swear. What the fuck? Like, am I right? Like,
I have no idea, WTF. I was like, what? I'm sorry. And they're all like sitting here like watching him do it like he's, you know, my son when he was 2 in Barnes & Noble and wouldn't leave the train table.
I mean, he's like beating on people with his sword. Like, he really could have killed someone. You know? It's just lucky that, like, what was it, like, oh, it's not Geordie, it's Willie. Willie is the, like, you know, hapless youngin' that, like, they were beating up on last episode. You know, they have their, like, shieldy thing.
Right.
It's only because they're, like, moving it right. And the thing is, he's not, because I watched it a second time, he's not even drunk. Like, I thought maybe he was drunk or something. I don't think he's drunk. He's just, like, flipping out. Like, I'm sorry.
I love this, though, when he kept going at the guy with the, shield.
This, to me, was the antithesis of how the character has been laid out. Like, this scene was just bizarre to me. It was really, I mean, did you feel the same way? I mean,
yes.
It was funny, and maybe that was the purpose. Like, it was, you know, it was funny. I laughed. But, like, I was like, you don't laugh at Dougal. Like,
all right, I have to jump ahead a little tiny bit. Because what freaked me out was that, okay, so his wife's dead, and he's all, oh, my wife, I wasn't good enough for her, blah, 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 blah. But then Geillis' husband dies, and Dougal's over there going,
well, that's the thing. Was it like, was the purpose of this scene to, like, throw him off the trail? You know? If I, like, freak out over Mora, then they won't suspect that, like, I'm, like, banging Geillis? Like,
it just was not so planned in the book. Like, with it was like, oh, my wife died, and your husband died.
Well, no, but it was like, I don't remember when Mora died, but I think it was more like, it was like, where's Dougal? Oh, his wife died, and he had to go back over to, like,
right,
you know, be there for a couple weeks. And, like, you know, sit Shiva, whatever, and then come back.
Right. We knew about her.
Yeah. We knew her from the beginning. So that's what I don't get. I didn't get why they didn't set, I mean, and I get they want Dougal to be a hooer. They want him to be all like, yeah, I'll grind your corn, whatever. But so, I would completely believe he'd have a wife and still do that.
And
like,
could
it just
you
was
please tell me
weird.
why he was, like, trying to slice my hand off, yet he was so easily persuaded to take the drink?
I don't know. That was a weird scene. That was
weird.
See, do you see what I mean when I say that this episode was better than the sum of its parts? That scene just, like, was bizarre to me.
Okay,
Sorry.
let's move on.
Moving on. Okay. Okay, so then Jamie and Murtagh, then they go to visit Sandringham. And Sandringham is on board with the plan. And again, that scene is just really so great.
Because Claire blackmailed him.
Yeah. What I put then I forget Sandringham I just have Sandringham so awesome written down here like 17,000 times.
I know.
I like again, and we touched on this a little bit, but like I kind of don't understand the whole relationship with Sandringham and the Scottish clans. What I wrote down was, would the Duke of Sandringham really, like, duel with a Scottish clan guy? Like, don't the English people or the British or whatever at that time, for the most part, think of the Scots as kind of, like, beneath them?
Well, the Scots are the British at that point.
Well, but what, do you know what I mean? Like, like, they think of the Scots as...
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I don't get it.
I think that Sandringham is an exception to the rule. I think that Sandringham will, no pun intended, get into bed with anybody who is willing to get into bed with him. I think he's bored. He's cray-cray,
Mm-hmm.
and he's bored with the everyday goings-on. So he gets himself involved in these crazy situations, and, because he's bored being Joe English.
So what you're saying is, quid pro quo, Claire.
Quid pro quo. I tell you things, you tell me things.
Did I just do that? I'll help you catch him, Clarice.
Oh my god. That was, I mean, I know that's like in the next scene, but that just like made me laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. Quid pro quo. Okay.
Okay, next.
So now we are in the big feast. And, the three of them, Colum, Sandringham, and Dougal are all like toasting each other. And then, alas, and I hate Geillis for this because I'm sorry, Arthur Duncan is just like awesome, and I'm really gonna be sad. Like, you can see in my notes, like I wrote a little like R.I.P. Arthur and a frowny face.
I don't know. I knew it was coming, so I wasn't really...
I knew it was coming, but whoever that actor is, I have no idea, but he's just really, it was really funny. Like, that character was very
right.
funny.
And right beforehand, or right when it happened, she said she looked, because I was like, where's Geillis? Why isn't Geillis running out there like, ah? And at first, for like a split second, Geillis and Dougal sort of gave each other the eye.
Well, that scene, yeah. I liked kind of how that all went down. And I still think that, like, it could have gone down that way without, like, the big Dougal keening, and, like, threatening to kill everyone with a sword scene, I thought it was cool. That was kind of a cool interaction, and, like, kind of in slow motion as, like, all the stuff is happening. And then Geillis is like, Arthur, whatever.
I think that they were trying to establish that Dougal really cared and did love his wife and didn't feel like he was good enough for her. I think they were trying to establish that Dougal isn't just this disgusting piece of filth who's with Geillis and doesn't care about his wife and blah, blah, blah.
So they do it by, like, staging an over-the-top, like comical scene?
Everything Dougal does is over the top.
That's completely, like, out of Dougal's character?
I don't think it is out of Dougal's character.
I don't think it would have been out of Dougal's character if he was drunk, maybe.
Well,
but, like,
how do we know he wasn't?
Because he says, like, he said at one point, like, when Angus had the liquor bottle, he said at one point, like, oh, I wish I could just get, like, really drunk so I wouldn't have to deal with it.
Didn't they say that, though, when they first came to get... Was it Jamie they came... Was it Claire? I don't remember.
It was Angus and Rupert came to get Claire. Like,
what were their words
that
about...
Dougal is, like, going apeshit crazy.
No, they didn't say Dougal. Dougal's going...
Claire,
crazy.
Mistress Fraser... Dougal is going apeshit crazy, and, like,
I thought they said Dougal's on one of his tears or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe Dougal is...
They made it sound like this is something Dougal does.
Do you think Dougal is bipolar?
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Do you think he's on an upswing right now?
I like it. I
don't know. Maybe it just doesn't meld with the more stoic kind of, like, kill with a glare kind of Dougal that we...
But you have to remember, Colum's the thinker, Dougal's the fighter.
I mean, I guess. Sorry, I'm fixing my hair, you guys.
Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, so
There
R.I.P.
I have,
Arthur.
oh
That
my
was a
God,
great shot.
Gary Lewis is an acting genius and just brought this show up to Emmy standards.
Wait, what? Simon Cowell? Not Simon Cowell. Oh my God, is it Simon Cowell? No, it's not Simon Cowell. What the hell?
No, Colum.
Oh, you mean when he sent everybody off? Well, wait,
That's-
no. What are you talking about?
The scene where Colum is like, "You're out of here."
No, but you just skipped over the duel. And I guess that's fine because what I wrote down is this duel is sort of unnecessary.
Right.
Except, I get it now, we get to see Jamf rock.
I sort of
That
felt
sword
like,
fight, only saving grace of that duel.
right. I felt like, oh, that's the stitching on the starting.
Yeah, like that duel was just like totally unnecessary. Whatevs. But like
Or-
Jamie, like with the sword fighting, that was good. That was totally worth it.
Okay.
Just like give us that. But yeah, you're right. Then Colum, that was a great scene with Colum.
Gary Lewis.
Okay.
This was me. He was riveting.
Yeah, he was really good. He was really good.
And I said, oh, I think we have our first Emmy nomination. Well, not first, because Tobias, yeah.
Well, Tobias, and then what the hell is it? It's not Simon Cowell because that's American Idol. What the hell was his name? Simon Callow?
Yeah.
Sandringham. Sandringham gets the guest appearance Emmy nomination. So that's an Emmy but no, you're right. Gary Lewis, Emmys all around. It's totally like I said last week. I tweeted this last week. I was
Simon
like,
Callow, yes.
Simon Callow, not Callow. Okay. I tweeted
Callow.
I tweeted last week that last week's show was like, it was the scene with Jamie and Claire in the woods. And it was like Oprah's favorite things Emmy edition. You get an Emmy, and you get an Emmy, and you get an Emmy.
Yeah, but my favorite is the Wendy Ho version of that. You get a car, and you get a car. You get a car, and you get a car. Everybody gets themselves a car.
I don't get why it's a hoe.
Wendy Ho, she's this silly character. Anyway,
Okay. All right.
Gary Lewis. Emmy.
Claire, how did this match is? Yeah, I
That
still was like,
scene
I'm still
where
like
he
making
is
notes.
Exiling Dougal.
Yes, I'm still making notes to myself about Dougal and how that scene fit his character or didn't fit his character. Like scenes later.
Oh my God. You were stuck on that. I was stuck on the amazing acting from, the whole, you will go, and then telling Jamie he's got to go with him.
Right, and you can't bring your wife.
And I don't care what you do once you're out of here. And here's a question that I have that I wrote down in my notes. Do you think... Okay, excuse me. Why? Obviously, on the surface, Colum just wants Dougal gone because we can't be a part of that. Those types of shenanigans. But because he knows Colum's no dumbass, he saw exactly what was going on.
Right.
But I think Colum is exiling Dougal partly to keep him alive because he knows Geillis will kill his dumb ass eventually. Like, I wonder if Colum, obviously on the surface, is like, I need to get this whole situation. I can't have anybody else realizing what I'm realizing. But at the same time, I wonder if Colum, if there's a bit of a brotherly love, realizes that Dougal is sometimes not the brightest bulb in the pack, and Dougal's going to get himself killed because Geillis is bad news.
I think it's that, because I will tell you this. This is what I think I meant when I wrote this down, was like that scene, as good, I forgot in the whole like Gary Lewis goodness that
Right.
Dougal was all like, but I love her, Dad. Like, again, like...
Where'd that come from?
I know! And she's carrying my child, and I love her. Like, Dougal, seriously?
And called him out on it and said, really? Because yesterday you were stabbing at all of us because of your wife.
Like, yeah, like, Dougal, I don't get Dougal in this episode at all. At all. I hope he goes back to his house and, like, you know, considers the error of his ways and, like, figures out how he's going to be badass again. Because I would much rather that.
He was like, I don't care what you do once you leave here. Like...
Yeah, Dougal was not Dougal. It was not himself. Maybe he ate some bad fish or something. I don't know. But, like, he was not himself in this episode.
It was strange.
Do you agree? Am I preaching to the choir here, or like?
No, it was very, very strange.
Yes, agreed.
I'm not saying it was bad. It was just different and strange.
Mm-hmm. Bad.
No, I did not say that. You know me. I will tell you when I don't like something.
You didn't like the Leary slap. You didn't like that.
It's not that I didn't like it. It was great TV. It was Vampire Diaries all over again. When I say Vampire Diaries, I mean, like, you know, TV that every 5 seconds is, oh no, did you just...
That's a good one. Oh no, she didn't.
Oh no, she didn't. But I felt like it was inconsistent. The Leary slap, I felt like Claire doesn't concern herself with this nonsense.
All right, we're almost there. We're almost at the end, and I don't even have. I can't even think about like trying to cut this video because I don't even want to know how long it is. All right, so they leave. Jamie's like, you know, these are dangerous times, Claire. You know, to watch yourself. So, of course, like 5 minutes after Jamie leaves, Claire gets a note, and it's like, come help me, I'm Geillis, come help me. And she's like, okay. Vroom.
Oh, my God. I did love, because it did get the same reaction out of me that I had during the books. Did he not just tell you to stay away from Geillis?
I know. And it was just like, it wasn't like, you know, I'm in terrible danger. It was just like, Claire, please come, Geillis. Okay.
Oh, Geillis needs me. It didn't even say anything. It should have been more like, I'm trying to think of a note from like a movie or a TV show where it was like, in totally like child's handwriting. Come see me.
Plus, the thing is, too, like, Claire knows that she killed Arthur. So, like, what the hell does she want anything more to do with her?
All right. Okay, I'm sorry, but after Jamie told her, stay away, who do I want to make happy? Jamie? Geillis. Jamie? Geillis. Downtown. Uptown.
Oh my God.
Holy cow.
So clearly Claire just like, you know, she's like having a Dougal moment of like not knowing what her like character or personality should be like.
Of epic proportion.
And so she goes to Geillis' house and Geillis is like, yeah, no, someone's trying to like, you know, F with you. And Claire's like, and you don't get that that's bad? And Geillis is like, yeah, I don't really care. And then again, poor, like, put upon servant, like, here's the door, pounding on the door, and it's like, mistress, what should I do? And Geillis is like, oh, you know, whatever. It actually made me laugh, because Geillis is all like, oh, I'm not going to leave my own house. Janie! Answer the door!
And Claire's all expecting them to be like, okay, miss, you can leave. And she's like, wait, what have I done?
So, so in those last couple of minutes, a lot of the stuff that happened throughout the episode that I was like, this feels very random, and I don't know why they're doing this, kind of made sense to me. And that's what I'll say. I'm not going to really go into detail with that. You all can figure it out yourself, but, like, would you agree?
Yeah.
I wrote something down here, but I can't read my handwriting. Geillis, servant girl, unlucky, Yeah, that's all. And that's it.
That's what I have.
Roll credits.
That's all
Roll
she
credits. I thought it was this was kind of a fun episode.
Totes fun.
It was very fun. I didn't always agree with the choices, but it made me laugh a lot. I don't know if that's like bad in that maybe I was laughing for reasons that weren't true to the story or true to the characters or whatever, but I laughed, so whatever.
Right.
And Sandringham, so good. In the first couple of minutes of the show, God, so good.
Wasn't expecting. What a little gift. What a wee gifty.
We gifty.
What a not so wee gifty.
So that's about it. That's about all she wrote.
I have one quick thing I want to say.
Yeah.
I've gotten, as you can imagine, from the premiere, from us starting doing videos again, and from episode 10 coming along, a lot of email and posts on the blog while I was away this week. So I just wanted to make a mention really quick of Steven, number 1, saw your email and I forwarded it to Tracey and it was fantastic. And we really appreciate the time you took to send that to us. Number 2, an email from Renee, who, Tracey, I haven't sent you yet, but I will. It was awesome. And also, I just want to make mention of the fact that I got an email from Beatrice, who, girlfriend, we're with you. We're so sorry. And this video is being dedicated to you. And Tracey, you will understand that when I send you that email as well.
Okay.
Thanks.
And this is a good thing to say, especially when the show is on, we get a lot of email, we get a lot of comments on Facebook and Twitter and the blog and YouTube. And we really try to, we read everything. We really try to respond, but, we both have really, you know the drill. You know the drill because you're busy too.
This isn't our day job.
This isn't our day job. My day job keeps me pretty busy most of the day.
This is something we do for fun.
This is something we do for fun,
and we love you guys.
So we love you, but so if it takes us a little time to respond, or I think part of the thing that we hope happens is that the conversation is not dependent on us per se. That y'all on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, or conversing with each other. And keep the conversation going that way. But we're reading everything, and we totally we're so humbled. I get comments from people all over the place on YouTube and stuff, and I'm blown away by that. People are watching this. People are watching this shit. People are watching Carol and I basically get drunk and talk about Outlander.
And we do these videos feeling like you guys are hanging with us.
Carol, I have to say I may kill you this week because I think that this angle is really bad for me, and I'm gonna look crappy.
I think you look adorable. Show them your shirt.
You guys look.
Lord, the Gathering.
And that's not even about the Gathering from season 1. That's all I'll say. Keep
reading, people.
You can buy this shirt and others like them on outlanderpurgatory.com.
Keep reading. The Mop Shop, baby. But keep reading. If you've only read Outlander, you've only read the first 2 books.
You only got half the story.
I know. I have so much to say, but I don't want to spoil, so I can't.
That's it. I don't even know.
Can we pay homage to Dinah Gabaldon? Because even though we're all about the show and Starz and Ron Moore and the actors, none of us would be here right now if it wasn't for Dinah Gabaldon herself.
And I have to pay homage to all the people who do this stuff we do. Because I know that, having done it ourselves, this kind of recapping takes a lot of time. So I'm not even going to mention names because you know who you are, people who do this, the other people who do this. Props to all of you. And
this is like an Oscar speech. To my husband and my children who haven't eaten dinner yet.
All the other Outlander recappers, whether you're writing stuff, whether you're taping stuff audio-wise, whether you're videoing it at yourself, yay you, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's fun.
And let me tell you something. So many people didn't sign up for exactly this. Like when I started that blog, my God, it was 2009? I just wanted to talk about the books without bugging Tracey and calling her every 5 minutes.
Right.
And I had no idea that it was going to turn into this. So, like, everybody's awesome that's involved with Outlander. That's all I have to say. I just wanted to mention something that has been brought back that wasn't around for a while, but now it is.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Look at that. I had some fun with this. Now I'm not going to be able to
You
get
can't see what you're looking at, and so it's boring. It's Tobias Tuesday, y'all.
Tell me that doesn't look like James Dean right there.
Nice. All right, I'm signing off now because I'm hungry and I want to order my dinner. Okay, you guys.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks
Have a great
for
week.
putting up with this whole long video. Hope you had fun.